Kettlebells! We just can't get enough kettlebells.
I love the excitement today.
I just want to learn more. And well, I have you here. I got you here for a short time. I want to just pick your brain. What I want to know now, okay, so you kind of helped me to see other parts of this complex move, the kettlebell snatch. I just want to know, how do you even start to kind of practice this move? And maybe what are some good drills that your average person could get doing?
So let's go over maybe my favorite drill when learning the snatch, and it's actually called the half snatch.
Okay.
So the last video we kind of discussed two different types of drops and kind of the complexities and the nuances in the drops. But since that's the area that most people have challenges with and troubles with, a lot of times I won't even teach that element first, and we use the half snatch to really remove the complexity of the drop. So I'll demo it, then we'll break it down.
Okay. So basically, you're addressing the eccentric portion of this movement on the way down. We're doing it in a more controlled sort of fashion. So what is that? How does that help sort of compartmentalize this movement?
So now with the half snatch, we're training the same dynamic power as we're trying to achieve with a full snatch on the upswing or the concentric phase. But on the downswing, you're pretty much lowering it just like you would for an overhead press. Right, so you're pretty much, we're going to have a video coming up on what are some of the details in the overhead press, so be sure to watch that. But in terms of this, you would lower the weight under control, okay, down to the rack position, and then just like you're lowering out of a clean, you would lower the bell down to the backswing, load up the posterior chain, and come through. Now, there's a few reasons also why I like this movement just from simplifying or beyond just simplifying the movement. One is if your grip, so a lot of times the snatch will tear up someone's hands and tear up someone's grip, and we talked about how that can happen in terms of the drop if someone's not very technical in terms of where to kind of place the kettlebell handle from the palm to the fingers. So while removing that, or if your hands are a little bit torn up, you can just work on the upswing, and then you save everything on the downswing. So if you've got grip issues or your grip's a little tore, you can use that. The other thing you can use it for is it's a great way to train hypertrophy in the upper body. So if you want to train power and then you essentially want to lengthen the duration of the eccentric phase, you can also get a nice negative there too. So you can train a little bit of hypertrophy work as well. And then you can also practice the lowering phase on the clean, because you got to think the clean is essentially a snatch, but just to a lower destination. The technique should remain pretty much the exact same, except the finish point on the clean is in the rack, whereas the finish point on the snatch is the overhead position. But the technique elements are both the same. But with the half snatch, once again, it's one of my favorite drills to reduce the complexity of the movement, where you can still train a lot of the same benefits, and you can train it for sometimes a lot longer if your hands are a little bit tore up.
Okay, great. So, I mean, overall, you're just kind of working in that control so you can really just focus on the power. And I like that you can also get a little hypertrophy added into your routine. Do you find that, kettlebell training, especially on the endurance side, guys focus enough on hypertrophy or on strength training with kettlebells?
My personal experience is not so much. In Kettlebell Sport, where we're trying to go for a normal competition is 10 minutes. There's also 5-minute categories, but classically it's 10-minute long events. It's an endurance sport way, way before it is a strength sport, unless you're a lifter who, let's say, is competing with 40 kilos or something like that. It's very much about technique efficiency. It's very much about good flexibility in the sport-specific positions and postures, and it's very much about endurance. So in my experience, classically in kettlebell sport, we don't have a lot of lifters that focus on strength, but I personally see a huge benefit from it, especially right after a competition. So this would be even a great way that sport lifters can incorporate a little bit of hypertrophy work, a little bit of size work before they get into, the more endurance phases of training.
That's great. That's great to kind of point that out. I'm sure a lot of the lifters appreciate that, because we're always looking for other ways to enhance our process and get better going into the next competition, right? So. All right, well, there you have it. There you hear it, and you have it. We go ahead and check out the 30 days of coaching, and we go ahead and send you as many helpful tips as we can. We cut and grab you and hyperlink you to certain podcasts that we talk about these various topics of mobility. We talk about nutrition, we talk about sleep, we talk about all these like real important, simple things you can do to get to optimal health. And it's a very powerful thing that we offer absolutely for free. So again, it's a pleasure having you here, Mike. And we're just gonna keep going and rolling this kettlebell series.